She's the type of person that she needs to speak out about what she's going through. And Sagittarius. Sagittarius make great storytellers. Hi everyone, welcome back to No Light Tarot. My name is Holly. So grateful to have you all. Let's get into this reading. I am very excited to do this reading. I actually took some suggestions. I think it was on Sunday. I recorded this on Wednesday. I took some suggestions on Sunday, but I will be doing some of those suggestions next week because a bombshell came out yesterday about Britney Spears and her having to I can't say it on YouTube because they're going to limit this video, and I really like the message of this video to be spread as much as possible, so I'm not going to mention what it was. It does pertain to a child that her and Justin Timberlake had, and it is a very traumatic experience, and so much of it makes sense. When I did a reading on her before, I did kind of get the energy of something similar, but I don't read on children, so I always feel like things like that are up to the person whose situation it is to say it. Yeah, I have been in a very similar circumstance, not exactly the same, but I have had my own experience where something similar happened. I was older and it was a little different, but as somebody who has been in a situation similar, it's not my business to say if someone has had a child, what they've done with it, or what has happened. So that's why I don't do readings on pregnancies. That's exactly why I don't reveal that. I think it's very invasive, and reading energies enough, some people may perceive it as invasive. That's why I like to be as respectful and as courteous as possible, because I'm looking for the message. I'm not looking for gossip. That's what I mean about this is not about negative gossip. I think that's up to her to say. So it was just released that Britney Spears was pregnant with Justin Timberlake's child, and they decided to no longer have it. Like I said, I've been in a similar situation and it's not easy. It's not the exact situation I was in. I write about it in my blog, but it's very similar, and I think a lot of women go through it, and it does change you. And not even women go through it, people go through it. It does change you because you see different sides of people. And even though it wasn't my choice to no longer have it, but it's a long story. I don't really want to get into it because I want to focus on Britney Spears. Okay, so we're doing a book breakdown. I'm really excited for her book. I encourage everybody to buy it, and if you feel like there's something you want to know more about, so forth. That's why I haven't really divulged too much about the book, because I think everybody should buy it. I'm a huge advocate of supporting somebody's story, especially because her story has been suppressed for so long. I said this before, I don't know if you guys know this, I've been a huge, I want to say advocate, but I've been a huge person of, supporter rather, of her getting out of that conservatorship. And in the beginning of the conservatorship, I thought it was best for her because, the media sold us, especially TMZ, sold us this idea that, hey, this is what's best for her, she's not doing well, it's going to keep her safe for a few years, or a few months. Then it became a few years, and then it just went on and on and on. And I remember around 2011, hearing she was still in the conservatorship, and I was shocked, And then it continued. So they kind of kept it a secret. But towards the end, I'd say 2016 was when I really started to get concerned for her. And I personally wanted her out of that conservatorship. So it did take about 5 years. I think things started 2016, 2017, I started doing my research on it. Actually, I want to credit, because I used to watch E-News, like I used to, in between my schedule, so I used to have a crazy schedule, I used to watch E-News, not really for celebrity gossip, but more for real housewives stuff and reality stars, because I've always been into that. But there was this one host, her name was Melanie. I can't find her anywhere. I've been wanting to write her. And she was also big on Free Britney. And I think a lot of people that were Free Britney in the beginning, we were seen as like crazy. We were seen as there's no way she's going to get out. We were seen as like, we don't want the best for her. And she really broke it down in one of the episodes. I think it was like 2017, 2018. She broke it down and she said it's unjust what's happening to her. And she wrote different things. She's British. She's a British journalist. So I just want to give her credit because she really like broke everything down and helped me support the movement even more. So I'm very happy she's out, well, partially out of the conservatorship, and I want to dive into more of what's going to happen after this book is released. I am a huge fan of her lawyer, Matthew Rosengart. Even though some people aren't, I am. I think he means well for her. He's helped her so much. And you know, that's the thing, even with Sam Asghari, a lot of you didn't like my video that I did about him, and it's okay. You don't have to like it. I got a lot of dislikes and whatever, it is what it is. But I think we have this idea that people are there to help us forever, you know? And it really is, life has shown me that some monumental people are there just to help you, you know? Especially when it comes to relationships. To help you, you help them for like literally a season and then it's over. So that's how I feel about Sam with Britney. And I'm just sending her lots of love. Like I said, please support the book. I'm not going to release information about the book. I'm going to release the energy after, because I really think everybody who is interested should read it, see it themselves. She finally deserves to say her truth, her story, you know? And I think, and I said this before, this is the point I was getting at. They wanted her in this conservatorship, and I saw that in the reading I did a long time ago when I used to do my readings on Instagram. They all wanted her in this conservatorship because it was a network of people who had just used her, treated her like garbage, and wanted to discard her, you know? And they could all behave that way towards her and silence her. That's why they were moving. That's why they had such strong efforts. They had invested so much money in this conservatorship, because people like Justin Timberlake were going to be exposed. And people like Christina Aguilera, people didn't like the video I did about her versus Britney Spears. But Britney definitely has a story about Christina, and I see that coming out. I've said that before. It's the only thing I want to talk about in the book. But a lot of people, especially because she was naive, and when you live in, and I'm going to tell you guys a story about, I had not a Britney exchange, but somebody who I believe worked for Britney. We'll get into that. But when you live in Hollywood, you see how fake, you know, and people are like, yeah, what is considered fake? To me, fake is somebody that smiles in your face, but behind your back is doing nasty things to you, is a detriment to your well-being, you know? That is fake. And you see, you know, before I moved to LA, I was like, yeah, I don't think people are really fake, but you see it, especially because I dated 2 celebrities. I saw how people were fake towards them, and I saw how fake people would be towards me. You know, I used to, I don't want to say where I worked, but I dealt with a lot of fake people who, once they found out I dated a celebrity, all of a sudden they wanted to be cool with me, but wouldn't even say hi to me before they found out. That's what I mean about fake. And the level of fake I've seen in Hollywood is astounding, you know? And I was watching Roseanne Barr doing an interview on Valuetainment, and she says at some point in her life, she felt like a prisoner. And I've experienced, well, I haven't experienced that, but when I've had conversations with exes who are in that limelight or privy to by proxy, you know, they have similar stories where at some point they couldn't trust anybody and they felt like a prisoner, you know. And you think, hey, this person has millions of dollars, they're the richest person, you know, one of the richest people, that they live their dream life, but they really don't, because they're chained by contracts and handlers and people who just want to silence them and use them because they can see their true talent. And I really, really believe that that's what happened with Britney Spears. So we'll get into it. But first, I have a personal story. I wasn't going to talk about the story because, and it does pertain to Britney Spears. So just stay tuned. And I do have timestamps if you want to jump ahead. This is the kind of channel I am. So if you're not interested, I'm not the reader for you. But I do talk about personal stories, and I love to hear your personal stories too, please. So I wasn't going to tell the story, but I think it's very important to tell it because living in Hollywood, a lot of things start to make sense, especially because I think 2020 was a big year of like awakening and, you know, people opening their eyes to certain things that were happening. But I remember one day I was walking, well, I used to live near downtown Los Angeles. Actually, the Whole Foods I used to go to was really close to the building that Amber Heard and Johnny Depp lived in. Well, Amber Heard lived there. And so I would go to that Whole Foods, I'd say like once or twice a week. And this was October 2020. I believe it was October 2020. So I was taking the bus home. I had my groceries. I'm such a New Yorker like that. I love to carry my groceries. I think after 2020 things kind of changed, 2021, but for the most part I love to carry my groceries home. I think there's something so powerful about them. Like, I bought these, I'm taking them home, you know. But anyway, so I was walking home after the bus, because the bus stop was on a main street. Oh my gosh, what was the name? Empire. It's on Empire Boulevard, right? Is that Empire? I think it's Empire. Anyways, it was that long street below Wilshire Boulevard, like parallel below Wilshire Boulevard. I don't know if you guys live in LA or you know, but that long road, I used to take the bus to and from Whole Foods. So it was the 92 bus, yeah, the 92 bus. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so I was walking down the street to my house. And as I was walking, this car stopped like diagonally in front of me, because I always pay attention to my surroundings, you know, especially, I just always do, because, you know, things can happen. So I noticed this car stopped like diagonally opposite me, and I just carried on walking. And I saw this guy look at me. So as I'm walking, he comes right in front of me. Like, almost like he ran. He was walking so fast, it felt like he was running, but he was like walking really fast. You know, he just seemed like a high stress guy. And he was shorter than I am. I'd say he's about 5'5", 5'4", 5'5". And he was bald. And he had a very strong, thick Israeli accent. And I was like, I know that because I used to live and work with a lot of Israeli people in New York, so I can just automatically, I can tell, because I've been exposed to a lot of Middle Eastern culture, I can always tell like where from the Middle East someone is, or, you know, just in general. So I knew he was Israeli because his accent was very thick. And he was like, oh, can I take you? He was like, hi, you're so beautiful, I want to take you on a date. I was like, I said to him, I'm really flattered, but I don't just date anybody off the street. He was like, yeah, I understand. He said, my name's Idan. And I remember he said, my name's Idan. And because I thought I know a lot of Idans from Israel. That's how and I was like, oh yeah, the accent matches. So I was like, no, I'm not interested. Thank you so much, but have a great day. He was like, yeah, you too. I caught a peek of his car. And it was a white Mercedes G-Class. Now, I love cars. I've always loved cars. That's what my dad and I used to bond over. I absolutely love cars. So I always like had an imprint of, wow, he looked quite buff, okay? So I thought about that. I'm like, this guy looks buff and he's shorter. He must be a security guard. That's what I thought, like a security guard, bodyguard, that kind of thing. I also noticed that the car didn't have a number plate. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I strongly firmly remember that only celebrities are allowed to not have number plates in California. I think it's like some kind of law that they have to protect their privacy, but I definitely remember that. So some time passes. It always stuck in my head because I thought it was so weird that I was meeting. I mean, I know a lot of Israelis that live in North Hollywood, but I don't really know a lot of Israelis that live near me. The G-class was just, things were not adding up. There were lots of red flags about that situation. So time passes, like a year passes, and I was just about to move here to Miami. And I was watching the Hulu documentary on Britney Spears, and they're talking about her security company and her bodyguard. And guess who I see? That same guy. Now, I'm pretty sure it was him. It might not be. I have to say that for legal reasons. But I'm pretty sure it was him. And the guy's name was Idan too, which I think is so insane. So I texted my friend and I was like, you won't believe this story. You know, I literally, I'm in shock, you know, because this Britney Spears' former bodyguard, head of security, asked me out on a date randomly on the street, and I said no. And it was weird how he even asked me, because he was like, I understand. And I was like, it was just odd, because I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I get asked out, you know, quite often, but the way he did it was very suspicious to me. And I have this theory, okay? I used to date, obviously I say this, and this is just a theory. I dated 2 celebrities, and one of them used to stalk me. He put me through the ringer when we broke up. I have a very strong feeling, and I actually recently found out that one of my exes does do this. He hired a private investigator to go after somebody else that had broken up with him. I strongly believe that this same ex hired this guy to find out information about me, and I think he was trying to lure me on a date to do something with me. I don't know what it is, but just glad I left LA, and after that I was like, this is definitely my confirmation to get the hell out of this city. And I felt so unsafe, and I just felt like watching my shoulder all the time after that situation. I actually started to leave my house as minimal as possible because I just felt so unsafe living there. That was one of the main reasons. So just putting that out there, that I had that instance. Oh, and after I saw the documentary, where I found out what I think to be him, her head of security, I looked up Britney Spears' car, and I found out that car, from what I remember, that car was her car that he was driving that day. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is out of control. So yeah, that's what happened. You know, LA is a very crazy place. Some of the craziest stories I've had have happened in that city. So I empathize with Britney, I can only imagine. And then I found out that they used to drive her car, so they're probably driving her car when she was on some shoot or something. It's crazy. So back to the reading. I just had to share that story because beginning I wasn't going to share it, but you know, in the spirit of revealing the truth. Okay, so I first pulled up what this is going to do for her and her energy. And when I was shuffling the cards, I got like a big smile, and I got a release. I felt like weight had been lifted off of me, and I just got goosebumps because I really think that's how she feels. She feels like, finally, you know, and my heart goes out to her. So 4 of Wands, 6 of Cups, and the Devil. Okay, so the Devil often represents things that oppress us, things that hold us back, things that we feel have control over us. And now she no longer has that. With 4 of Cups, you know, she's looking back. She's like, you know, I think there was a time before the conservatorship that she could have released this book, but she didn't want to hurt people. And now she's like, you know what, I could have done this a long time ago. You know, I think people probably have said that to her. Why now? She's like, I could have, but I didn't have the strength. Oh gosh. Britney, wow. So with Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck, I strongly feel like moving forward, there's going to be a lot of, her life is really going to change. Her life is really going to change, especially with her moon in Aquarius. She's the type of person that she needs to speak out about what she's going through. And Sagittarius make great storytellers. They need to like vent, you know. So, because the sun is a Sagittarius. I know her chart very well because I've done lots of readings on it. So the Knight of Wands, the Four, and Seven of Wands. Perfect. So this is a new start, completely new start. It's almost like, oh gosh, I can't believe it took this long. My heart aches for her that it took this long. I'm glad she's doing it, but I'm just sad that it took this long for people to see who he was. You know, my biggest red flag, and I think I've said this about Justin Timberlake, was how he handled the Janet Jackson fiasco. And I've always felt that he had some resentment towards her and blamed her for a lot of things he did, which is the shadow side of Aquarius, and Aquarius that he is. So with the Tower card and the Hanged Man, moving forward, he's going to be cancelled. And I don't believe in cancelling people. I really don't believe in that stuff. But I do believe in holding people accountable. And I do believe, you know, I don't know why he was able to do Super Bowl. I don't know why Janet Jackson was banned. And I'm talking about him because he's a huge factor, I believe, in why Britney silenced herself first and then was silenced, if that makes sense. Like, I think her love, and she says it in Every Time, you know, every time, that song, Every Time, I used to listen to it almost every day because I went through a breakup in like 2007, 2008, and no, 2009. So I listened to it every day, and I was like, this doesn't really sound like a breakup song. After I listened to it a lot, I was like, this doesn't sound like a breakup song. This sounds more like someone dying song. And I would say that. I would say, the song sounds like somebody dying and rebirth, you know? And it was. It was. So, this is going to be very good for her energy, her well-being. By the way, I'm using the Crystal Magic Tarot. I'm going to move on to the next one. It's going to be good for her mental well-being and just her freedom, because Sagittarius is big on freedom. And I'm so sorry she had to live all those years. A huge secret, you know. It pains me. And it all makes sense. All makes sense. So let's see the energy of the conservatorship now moving forward. What's going to happen here? And again, guys, I really encourage you to buy the book, you know. I think on Amazon it's only $23. I'm gonna get it on Friday because I have some money coming in then. And this is Friday before it comes out. I'm gonna pre-order it so that I get it ASAP. So with Two of Inspiration in this deck, I'm using the Muse Tarot. So inspiration is Wands, Two of Wands, Knight of Wands, and Page of Wands. So a lot is going to come out about the conservatorship. I'm not going to say exactly what because I think we all need to read the book and I don't want to be invasive. You know, she deserves to tell it her way. A lot is going to come out about the conservatorship, about how it's going to explain how she got into it. It's going to explain that she was tricked. I want her to explain it though. The fact that this woman is alive is shocking to me. And I'm so proud of her for being strong. It's amazing. So with the Empress, she feels, you know, Empress energy is very fertile, rebirth, creativity. She's going to get a wind of creativity back, and I actually see some new music. I think with writing, she hasn't been able to do a lot of music. That's why we've gotten very like shallow stuff recently since her freedom of conservatorship, because it was like everybody was like, she's free, not everybody but a lot of people were like, she's free to say whatever she wants, why isn't she saying it? And I think because writing this has taken up a lot of her time and her energy, and she was just focused on this. But now that this is released, I see her releasing music. I do see her being out of the conservatorship, bottom of the deck, but then people are still going to be like, she should be back in it, she should be back in it, she should be back in it. And I stand firm in supporting Free Britney. I still believe she's free, she should be free. You know, the conservatorship made no sense at all. Number one reason, and reason alone, if she was in such a mental state of unwellness, why was she allowed to work for 9 hours a day, non-stop? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't believe in this conservatorship. If they really meant well for her, they could have done other things. So let's see. Okay, so now Queen of Swords, the Magician, Knight of Swords. Somebody's going to come out as retaliation and be like, her dad, I see it being like, and her mother, both of them, going to be like, yeah, well, we did the best we could, and you know, that is such a tired, everybody does the best they could. But if you're gonna do the right thing and not do the right thing, you don't, it's not your get out of jail free card. You don't go, for example, if you're driving drunk and you kill somebody, you don't say, I did the best I could. No, you know? And I think some parents need to understand that you can literally kill a child's soul by some behavior, and saying the best I could isn't your way of escaping what you did, because ownership is big when you're dealing with other people. So her parents are gonna be like, we did the best we could, but they're gonna be told, the Britney people are gonna come back at them, which I don't believe in doing. I don't do that. So these Britney people are going to be like, why is he still, you know, I think the dad has tried to get a job and he's been like ousted. He's tried, I don't want to focus on the dad because I think he's got so many mental problems that is just beyond him. But he tries to get a lot of sympathy for dad. He's big, and the mother too. They're both big on like, we did the best we could. It's Britney. Britney is always the problem. It's really horrible that they treated her like that, and I'm so sorry. It's terrible. Okay, so let's move on to what Justin Timberlake is going to say about all of this. His response and the energy, what's coming out. So I remember there being, and I did do a reading on this, that I suspected that he cheated on her. I said that he's a cheater. I can just see that. I think he has cheated on every spouse, girlfriend he has ever had. It's just his energy that I get. And I did say that I met him. I actually recently, I wouldn't say I met Joe Jonas, but I was in the same room as Joe Jonas recently. I don't want to say, I was in Miami where I lived, but I'm not going to say exactly where, because it was a part of my life and I don't want to expose. I like to keep my privacy. But I did see Joe Jonas, and when I saw Joe Jonas, he gave me the same energy as when I saw / met Justin Timberlake. And they both have this energy of like, I can get away, and maybe it's a Disney child thing from, you know, the male perspective, but they both gave me the same energy of I can get away with whatever, you know. Even though they're two different people. Joe Jonas' sun is in Leo. Justin Timberlake's rising is in Leo. I strongly feel like they just have very similar energies. Like, I can't describe it, but I've met a lot of celebrity, a lot. And they just both have that similar energy, you know, of like, that kind of thing, you know. So yeah, so let's pull up Justin Timberlake. Wow. Okay, Four of Wands, Two of Swords, and High Priestess. So seems like his marriage is going to be very rocky. I did say because sometimes I rewatch videos I've done on people to get a new, well, not new energy, but just to see, hey, where in the storyline does this fall if important news comes out. And I saw that I predicted October 2024 as that, I said by October 2024, excuse me, their relationship will have come to an end. Now, I strongly feel like it's at most a year, because their relationship is like on its last leg. She's very out. She's been out for a while. But the thing about Sun and Pisces, and when I do readings on Sun and Pisces, I see the same recurring theme, that Pisces can be unhappy in relationships and be okay, you know. I actually dated somebody who was a Pisces, and he would tell me, I think I might have told the story, and he would tell me, he would be like, yeah, he would vent to me about his ex-girlfriend, which I didn't really like, but whatever. So he would vent to me about his ex-girlfriend. He'd be like, yeah, you know, we once went 9 months without having sex. And I was like, whoa, that's like a long time, you know. But Pisces are like that. They can go very long. They can just be unhappy for a long time, you know. Certain signs, I think water signs in general, they can be unhappy for a long time and just like suffer through relationships that they shouldn't really be in. I couldn't go through any kind of torment in a relationship for 9 months, you know. That's why I haven't been married yet. So the Ten of Crystals, I see that he wants to kind of build, he's going to go underground. Crystals in the traditional deck is Pentacles. So he wants to go underground, kind of invest in certain things. He's going to kind of disappear for a bit. My thing about this whole Justin Timberlake thing is like, I get it. In relationships, things happen. But why does he feel the need to do Cry Me a River? You know, these songs go and talk about her and just be so mean about her. If he pressured her into not wanting a baby, so that's what it's just like, wow. Which I'm telling you, I've been in a very similar circumstance with an ex, and it wasn't even public, you know. So I can only imagine when it's public. So the bottom of the deck being Queen of Wands. There's somebody, I feel like a manager that's gonna help him. Somebody advising him that's a woman. And she's saying, just stay low, don't feel it. So for 1 year he's going to be completely quiet. I think maybe this is why the insane reunion isn't going to happen. But the thing about Justin Timberlake that I saw very strongly in his energy, from what I pick up on, it is intuitive based, is that he loves to be the center of attention. It has to be all about him. And you know, he is fire sign driven Aquarius. Find out about the shadow side of Aquarius, especially if they have strong fire in their chart. They can be very, very selfish. Very selfish. Look at Ellen DeGeneres. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Look, you know, a lot of Aquarius can be, I'm a silent Aquarius, and I recognize that. In fact, my fellow Aquarius have made me not want to be like that, because I'm like, I don't want to be a selfish, inconsiderate human being, which I see that a lot, you know. It's like the humanitarianism is all an act. So with Six of Crystals, Ace of Crystals, and the Empress, not all Aquarius, some. I see that he is going to be in a new relationship. Wow, okay. Somebody younger. So I see her leaving. Jessica Biel, I see her leaving. I did see that before. But this is putting even more pressure on them. You know? Because if you think about it, Jessica Biel never really had a famous ex before. She's always had a squeaky clean image. She was on Seventh Heaven. I love Seventh Heaven. You know, she's always done like America's sweetheart type of things. Then she marries Justin Timberlake, and you know, he helps her clean up his act because he was like, you know, he gave Playboy energy, and then now she comes along and he is all of a sudden in movies. He did The Social Network, which I love that movie, and all these things, you know, like he's been able to clean up his image because of Jessica Biel. But I haven't really seen her, other than having 2 children from him, I haven't seen her really get a lot from this relationship. And I always say that about Pisces, water signs in general, mostly Pisces and Cancer. They can really get into relationships where they're the ones giving and not really getting anything back. And they can really be cursed with relationships in that way. So 9 of Swords and the Hierophant, I see them, I see a divorce is imminent. I see a strong divorce happening, and yeah, that's what I see. So last, I want to do Christina Aguilera. By the way, I use the Star Child Tarot for that. This, I'm going to do the Journey of the Sacred Bee Tarot. I'm going to do just Christina Aguilera, the energy, because I strongly believe something's going to come out about Christina Aguilera in the book and the rivalry. So let's see. So I have a strong feeling, because you know, lawyers have to reach out to, or press reps have to reach out to your camp to tell you, hey, this is coming out about you, especially if, this is how it works, okay, because I used to date a publicist, so this is how it works. Basically, your if you write a book or you write something about somebody and the press gets a first sneak peek of something you wrote about somebody else that's famous, for example, it's usually somebody that's famous, they will ask the person who's been written about camp to get a comment on it before it's released to the public. By law, they have to do that. I forgot what law it is in the States. And in the UK, they have that too. So they'll ask them, hey, this has come out about this person. Is it true? We'd love your comments on it. So then the person has a heads up of, hey, this is happening. So this, I strongly believe, and I can see that people have already reached out to Christina Aguilera's team to say that something has come out. I see there being pushback, so it hasn't been good. Okay. So I do encourage you, like I've said, to read the book. Okay, the moon, the sun. The moon, the sun, King of Wands. Interesting. So, okay. So I do, like I said, encourage you to read the book. But I see here that there might have been like a manager. There was somebody, like a manager or someone like a producer that used to work with both of them, that Christina said some horrible things about Britney too. Like she can't dance, she can't sing, she's not even... But I mean, they were younger, so it is what it is. I'm just seeing she bad-mouthed her a lot. So moving forward, it's going to be 2 of Wands, 10 of Wands. It's going to be definitely Britney versus Christina. And oh my gosh. I think it's finally time for us to hear the truth, you know, about Britney. Because she's being definitely bullied behind the scenes, you know. And in Hollywood, it's not survival of the most talented. It's survival of the rudest the nastiest. You know, I think some of them separate themselves. Not really musicians. I see more actors really separate themselves, just focus on acting. But singers, dancers, I've seen some really cutthroat, mean behavior from a lot of them. And it's really survival of the most petty, survival of the one who can handle the politics. I think some do come through that are genuine and kind, who really have talent. She's an example, Britney. But I think some of them are very nasty, cutthroat, and mean. So, Princess of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I do see with the energy moving forward, I get tired. I just got like a tiredness. And I'm not tired, but I just feel like tired. I think maybe Christina Aguilera, she feels tired of... It seems like she causes a lot of the drama between them, but she's tired of it. Okay, so Princess of Discs, Page of Discs, two of Discs. I think she has resentment. I don't know why all these people are so resentful of Britney. But Britney just is a star, you know? She's just got that star quality. Same thing with Beyonce. They're stars, you know? And I think a lot of people are jealous of that. And I see that here. I see jealousy around her. She attracts jealous people because they want what she has, but then they use her, 5 Wands, they use her and they discard her. So moving forward, let's see, that energy is very strong. Moving forward. Okay. So, Christina's going to come out and apologize. She's going to be basically forced to apologize. And she's going to say, you know, I was young. I don't know what I was saying. I don't know what I was doing. But I finally, and you know, they're both Sun and Sagittarius, and I must say I struggle a lot with Sun and Sagittarius sometimes, especially the woman. I can feel like they can be very petty and just mean girl energy. And this is what Christina Aguilera is giving me, that kind of energy. She's finally just gonna be like, you know what, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. She's finally going to say it. There's gonna be so much pressure. People are going to come out and say she said things about her. Wow. Horrible. So yeah, that's what I have for you all. This has been such a fun reading to do. I'm really happy that you guys joined. Please like the video. If you're a subscriber, write down in the comment section subscribe, because I'm giving away a reading every month for subscribers. Yeah, and if you're a member, giving away a deck to whoever writes the most comments that is a member that lives in the US that has social media. So I love you all. Take care.